Have you ever heard of the Napoleon of the Sudan? It's a grand title, isn't it? It belongs to a man named Muhammad Ahmad, a religious leader who, in the late 19th century, led one of the most successful anti-colonial uprisings in African history. But he wasn't a general with a modern army. His story is one of faith, rebellion, and a mastery of guerrilla warfare that baffled one of the world's greatest empires. So, picture this, it's the 1880s. Sudan is under the thumb of an Egyptian administration, which itself is controlled by the British Empire. The people are suffering under heavy taxes and foreign rule. From this discontent emerges Muhammad Ahmad. He's a charismatic and deeply religious man who proclaims himself the Mahdi, the guided one foretold in Islamic tradition, sent to restore justice to the world. He doesn't have cannons or modern rifles. His followers, known as the Ansar, are armed with swords, spears, and an unshakable belief in their cause. The British and Egyptians, with their superior firepower, dismiss them as a mere nuisance. They send a force to crush the rebellion, but they've made a huge mistake. They've underestimated the Mahdi, and they've underestimated the power of the desert. This is where the genius of the Mahdi's strategy really shines. He doesn't fight on their terms. He avoids open battles where their technology would dominate. Instead, he uses the vast and forgiving Sudanese landscape as his greatest weapon. His forces are mobile, living off the land they know so well. They launch surprise attacks, ambushing supply lines and isolating garrisons. They strike fast and then melt back into the desert, leaving their enemies confused and demoralized. One of the most famous examples of this was the Battle of El Obeid in 1883. An Egyptian army, led by British officer William Hicks, marched into the desert to destroy the Mahdi. They were confident, but they were also marching into a trap. The Mahdi's forces harassed them constantly, cutting them off from water sources and picking them off one by one. By the time the final confrontation came, Hicks's army was exhausted, thirsty, and completely surrounded. The result was a total annihilation. It was a stunning victory that sent shockwaves all the way back to London. The Mahdi's ultimate triumph was the capture of Khartoum in 1885, a city defended by the famous British General Charles Gordon, after a long, grueling siege. The Mahdi's forces overwhelmed the city's defenses. It was a symbolic victory, the peak of his power. He had driven out the foreign invaders and established his own state, the Mahdi state. Sadly, Muhammad Ahmad died just 6 months after the fall of Khartoum, but his legacy was immense. He showed the world that a determined force, using its knowledge of the local terrain and unconventional tactics, could challenge and even defeat a technologically superior colonial power. His use of guerrilla warfare, mobility, surprise, and popular support became a blueprint for future resistance movements across the globe. He wasn't just a religious leader. He was a brilliant military strategist, a true Napoleon of the Sudan. Thanks for watching. If you found this slice of history fascinating, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories you might not have learned in school. See you in the next video.